everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. We got the full panel today. How's it going, guys?
I'm having a wonderful time eating a cheese stick.
I mean, where'd you get it? You might as well plug the place if it's a good one.
I tell you, it's actually my favorite place to go get a cheesesteak. It's called Liberty Steaks. I have a Pittsburgh super fan that's been staying with me. They went to the game yesterday for anybody who saw it on social media. And, it's yesterday was a great day all the way around, between meeting the governor and the lieutenant governor together. Nice. And, just everything else that happened. I got to meet Pete Davidson. Does anybody know who Pete Davidson is?
Love Pete Davidson.
Yeah, I didn't really know who he was, but he definitely wanted to take a picture with me.
Nice.
So, and literally it was like, oh, okay, he's there he is. He's
he's famous. I don't even know what for really, but he's
a comedian, but all I know is that he's got a very big sausage.
Yeah, so I've heard that. It's funny, like he'd have to because he looks homeless most of the time. Right.
But I didn't realize he was an Eagles fan.
Oh, okay.
So he just gained more points for me, even though I had no idea who he was. It's
happened to win.
It was a lot of fun.
Interesting.
A lot of fun for me. So here's my question, though.
Yep.
Dustin.
Yeah.
If Minnesota wins today.
Yep.
They are losing the tiebreaker because Detroit beat them, correct? That's it?
Yeah. Yep. Well, and because if Minnesota would win today, let's just say that Detroit would have 3 losses now and Minnesota would have 2. Even if Minnesota would be ahead of Detroit, they would still be behind the Eagles because the Eagles are undefeated in conference and the Vikings have have the 2 conference losses.
We're not undefeated.
Do you have one loss?
1 loss.
We have 2 because we lost to the Rams and Lions.
Well, hold on. We lost to Tampa Bay and Atlanta.
Okay, then maybe we would be. Yeah, so then Detroit has the only advantage because they beat us. So then if all of us have.
Yeah, but you have divisional losses. And divisional losses come into play there, right?
Yeah.
At some point?
Yeah.
Because ours are non-divisional.
They come into play ahead of conference
losses. If all 3 of us end with 3 losses, I don't think Minnesota's going to run the table. I think they lose 1 more of their final 4 to get 3 losses. I think Detroit's going to lose another game just because their defense is so battered right now, depending on how you go. If it's a 3-way tie and we beat Detroit in week 18, then we get the number 1 seed. But if we lose to Detroit again in week 18 and we all finish with the same record, then Detroit would have the number 1 seed.
Or we run the table.
Yeah. And then
you guys lose 1 more game.
Yeah. But if we all end up with the same record, if we all end up like 14-3, the only way I think you guys can get home field is if you finish 15-2. Because if we all end up with 3 losses.
Yeah, I don't know that. Because like I said, if divisional games come into play.
Detroit would have the 1 divisional loss because Detroit lost to Tampa and then they lost to Buffalo. They have that 1 AFC loss, which is going to help Detroit. We would have the 3 conference losses in conference. Detroit would have those 2.
So who are your losses right now?
The Rams and the Lions.
See, and it's that Lions loss that makes me wonder.
That's why I said if we beat the Lions in week 18, the Lions would have.
Right. But if you beat the Lions in week 18.
Mm-hmm.
And have the same record as the Lions do,
mm-hmm.
and we have the same record, I think we have the tiebreaker with you guys.
Because you are undefeated in the division, right?
Right.
Yeah, but you have 3 division games left, so you would have to lose one of your 3, and then we would all have the same division record where we would all have 1 division loss. Because you would have to lose 1 of your last 3 games, which is a divisional game, which would give you 1 division loss. The Lions would have the 1 division loss against us. We would have the 1 division loss against the Lions. Then it would come into play the conference mark, which the Lions would have the edge over both of us because of that Buffalo loss.
Well, it makes me wonder on that. Well, yeah, on that. Yeah, because they have the 1 conference loss.
Yeah, they would have 2 conference losses total. Buffalo would be their 3rd. Our 2 teams would have the 3 conference losses. So we'd be kicked out on that tiebreaker.
Right, but I think that if you guys win, because I'm trying to think of who the common opponent. So if we were all 3 losses, and I lost one of the games in the division, it would go down to common opponents.
Who were your interdivision opponents this year? Like the two divisions that you played in full?
So we played the
AFC North, right?
North. Yep, we beat all four.
Yeah,
And then-
we beat all the AFC South.
And then the AFC and the NFC South, and that we were 2-2.
NFC South, our only common opponent would be Atlanta, which we beat Atlanta. You beat Atlanta, I believe.
No, we lost to Atlanta.
You lost to Atlanta, so then we would have the common opponent there because we beat Atlanta.
All right, and that's the only common opponent.
Because then our other game would have been one team from the NFC West, which was San Francisco, who we beat.
We didn't play him.
We got nobody. We had one team from the AFC East, which was the Jets, who we beat. Packers, we beat once so far. You beat once. We have the Packers a second time in 2 weeks. But yeah, I think our only common opponent outside of the Packers in the division is that Atlanta game, because we only played the one team from the NFC South. You had the whole division.
Joe, calm down. It was the fucking Panthers. Like, let's not pretend like you beat an actual team.
Wait, did you?
You know what they did say though, that the Cowboys are still in the playoff hunt
For another week.
I
For
mean,
one more week.
technically the Niners are too with their 0.1%. So
Well, the Niners, just because they're only 2 games out of the division with 3 games left. But obviously, if the Rams win next week, that eliminates the Niners at that point. But
yeah,
Cowboys are in the same boat. They're technically mathematically alive because if they run the table, they can still get in with that 9-8 record. But if Washington or any of those teams ahead of them win next week, then they're out.
yeah.
Would you say that you're done now? Would you stick a fork in you guys in Seattle?
So it depends on if Gino comes back or not.
He's done.
So if he's done, then it's a wrap, right? Because
Right.
as much as the Gino haters in our fan base want to see Sam Howell, I went to most of the practices, right? And like he was missing guys with no defense.
Yeah.
There's a reason he led the league in interceptions last year. So if he is our guy, then yeah, it's a wrap. Like you wouldn't even have to watch the rest of the games. You know, you're losing them all. If
He's your version of Nick Mullins because we have Nick Mullins as our backup, just like Sam Howell. Where Nick Mullins will throw for touchdowns, but he's also going to throw a crap ton of interceptions.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Jameis Winston type of guy, right? Like he's going to put up some yards. He's going to throw some touchdowns, but he's going to throw just as many to the other team.
Yep.
So yeah, if it ends up having to be Sam Howell, he's not elusive enough to deal with the fact that our offensive line is terrible. So, yeah, it would be done. If Gino comes back, then there's still a shot because we have the Rams the last week of the season. So as long as we can beat Chicago and, you know, I don't know what we'll do against Minnesota.
Well, that's the question. Do you think Gino's even healthy enough to go against Minnesota next week?
If he can't, I mean, even with him, that's going to be a tough out, right? So I don't know how that one goes, but if they can win the last 2 and they can get a little bit of help from Arizona against the Rams, which Arizona can beat the Rams, there's still a shot, right?
Is Minnesota going to Seattle, or is it the other way around?
Minnesota goes to Seattle because Seattle beat them the last time, so that game switches locations or stays. I think it was at Seattle the last time they beat Minnesota too.
Yeah. So it's that one's here in Seattle, and then we finish with 2 road games.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, though, I'm more impressed with Charbonnet than I am with Walker. Man, every time Charbonnet goes out there, he really does a great job running that rock. He really does.
As long as they can create openings for him, he's great.
He's not that fast.
Well, no,
the
he's
big
not. But
thing
I'm
is
just
he's
saying,
not
like,
a
I
running
mean,
back that can get through people, right? Like he can get around guys, but he can't barrel through guys. Like that's where
Walker
comes in handy. Is he's that bruising back that can mow people down, which you need with our offensive line because he's going to get hit behind the line of scrimmage, which is also why he's hurt. But
every time I play Charbonnet, that guy just goes off for points, man. And then when I play Walker, he's kind of hit or miss, but Charbonnet's just been solid every time. Yeah,
as long as they got holes for him, he's good.
Yeah.
If he gets hit behind the line, he is going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah. I mean,
So I got to ask you, Bo,
Yeah.
now that you watched that game yesterday, do you think that hit on Geno Smith was a little bit dirty?
No, I mean, he was diving to make a play. Like, it's not like he was targeting it. He was diving at the guy.
But because he got him below the knees, they tend to throw the flag on that for roughing the passer.
Well, no, because his feet weren't planted.
Okay.
So Geno had jumped and he had dove, right? So he hits him in the ankle there. But you only get a roughing the passer if you go low, if both feet are on the ground.
Which even if he had both feet on the ground, I think that is roughing the passer, because if he got him in the ankle jumping, he's going to get him in the knees flat.
Yeah, no, and it would have been, but it wasn't like a malicious.
No,
Like, he was just diving after the quarterback. Like, I can't really hate on the guy for that. It didn't look dirty. It looked like he was just trying to make a play, and because Geno had jumped, no flag. It was a good no call. Had his feet been on the ground, 100%, he would have got the flag, right? Just because that's what the rule is. But yeah, no, I didn't feel any type of way about it. It's unfortunate Geno got hurt, but I didn't see anything dirty there.
And you can always tell by a player's reaction when they feel that the knees or like that the injury is like serious, and you could tell like Geno yesterday is like, yeah, this is not good.
Yeah, well, the thing that was really weird about it is, he was grabbing his ankle, but they listed him with a knee. So it was kind of an odd. Like, I'll be interested to hear what comes out today when they do,
The MRI.
MRIs and stuff, because they did X-rays on site and they said structurally everything looked good, but of course you can't see tendons and stuff on an X-ray.
Right.
So
Now you're gonna have to go to the MRI and then really get it there. But
exactly.
yeah.
So we'll see what that looks like today. But yeah, I mean, again, at the end of the day, if Geno can't come back, it's over.
I'm surprised they don't have a damn MRI machine at these stadiums. They got every other thing in the world.
Some of them do. Like the newer stadiums, like SoFi has one. The Viking Stadium has. I think all the stadiums that were built post 2015 have MRIs on site.
Yeah.
The older
Yeah, because I mean that just seems like a necessary tool. That and the X-ray machine to get real time stuff.
I mean, I would love to have the bankroll to own the Seahawks.
Oh yeah. Hell, I'd like to have the bankroll. Just get 5% or 7% of a team. I'd be happy with that.
Right? Just kick me off some crumbs.
Just a little bit. Just give me a little bit. Damn.
That's right. Just kick me off some crumbs of $10 billion program.
Well, I'd be like this.
Still going to be somewhere in that $100 million range. I'm in. Let's do this thing.
We give you some crumb stat guy, but you're not a loyal Vikings fan. You only put your shit on when they're doing good, so we ain't giving you crap.
Hey, Vikings always play Sunday. They never play Monday. I always wear my Viking stuff on Sunday, but they have a Monday night game tonight, so I'm going to wear it today.
That's what they all say. Good try, though.
I don't know.
I don't know if I believe that.
Did anybody hear anything about TJ Watt?
It's MRI for him today.
Yeah.
MRI?
Yeah.
Looked like it went for him. I thought it was Achilles, but he walked off. I was like, all
right.
It
looks. They're saying high ankle sprain is what they're saying, but they think it could be one of those that ends up being 4 to 6 weeks as opposed to the 2 to 3 week one. Where if it's 4 to 6 weeks, then you have to make the decision, because if you IR him, that eliminates him in the playoffs the first week. So you can't really IR him if it's 4 to 6 weeks. You kind of just gotta eat that roster spot and just leave him as a week to week.
Yeah.
Right. That's why they're hoping it's 2 to 3 weeks, because then they don't have to IR him. And it's just like, if you can go in 2 weeks, you can. If you can't, you can't. But if it ends up being 4 to 6 weeks, you're basically playing a man down because you can't afford to IR him once the playoffs start.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. But I wanted to see if it was anything.
I thought it was an ACL when he planted.
Some pretty serious injuries, though. I wonder how that's going to affect them, though, in the playoffs.
I thought it was a torn ACL when he planted, because you kind of saw his knee buckle a little bit. But then when he rolled and he grabbed his foot, I'm like, well, that's Achilles. But then he was like walking normal. I'm like, well, I don't know what that is then, because it's not either or.
Damn, to a torn ACL.
Yeah. Now there was some good ones as far as hits, and I mean, let's see, where was that? A bunch of these coming through all at once here.
Somebody was on a stretcher yesterday too.
Yeah, so that was for Miami. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So, asking if it was a dirty hit, and it was a no joke hit. The biggest thing there. Come on. There we go. So, I mean, the biggest thing is he leads him like that's your quarterback getting you killed.
Mm-hmm.
He led him straight into a punishing hit by a safety. Like that's now the rules have changed. It's an illegal hit. I don't know what you expected him to do, because if you don't make that hit, dude just runs by you.
Right.
Either that, if you don't make that hit, you're running into your own guy, and then you've got two of your own guys that you're probably going to knock out.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know what you really expected him to do. Obviously, it's unfortunate he ends up with a head injury. More testing is going to be done today. He leaves on a stretcher.
Here's an hour ago.
Okay.
Remained in the hospital, but had movement in all extremities after being stretchered off the field following a scary helmet-to-helmet hit against the Texans.
Yeah,
So,
and he's in stable condition. So,
That's
like,
it.
at least that part of it's good.
And the thing with that play too that makes it worse is the receiver was like kind of laying out for the football. Had it just been like put in the middle like that, and he has to jump up, he's still going to get hit hard. But now you're getting hit more in the waist and more in the chest, where you might break a rib. You still might get a concussion. But the fact that he's like laying out to get that ball, he's completely defenseless. So if he's going to get hit, he's going to get popped.
No, and that's the biggest thing is you didn't even have a different target area if you're the defender.
Yeah,
because you're either going for the leading piece that's coming at you, or you're going to miss it altogether. So that's why I don't feel like that's a dirty hit. That's just a bang football play that the quarterback put him in harm's way. And, it's unfortunate that he got hurt. But again, I don't think that was something that, and he's going to get a fine. No question, right? Like he's going to get a fine. He got the 15-yarder. Like all of that is going to be a thing because of the rules. But if you don't make that hit, dude might be in the end zone. So
right.
I really think that's just more of a bang play that, just went bad.
And then you got Patrick Mahomes also going off on a cart, which kind of throws how their season might end up.
So also I'm looking at this. The Lions lost a couple more players to their defense.
Oh.
Alan McNeil, a torn ACL. Cornerback Carlton Davis out for 6 weeks after fracturing his jaw.
So he's out for the playoffs. Thanks to IR him.
Ouch.
That's why I think at this point
It said Montgomery out indefinitely, but I don't know why they're mentioning Montgomery because he's not even listed in the.
Mac, we beat the Cardinals. That was a week ago, man. we did get our ass kicked by Green Bay last night, though.
That's kind of why at this point, like the Lions have had a good season and no one's going to take that away from them. But given the amount of injuries that team has now suffered on defense, I don't see how they're going to be able to make a deep playoff run when they're going to have to go up against Philly, Green Bay, Minnesota, and teams that can put up points. Because at this point, they're going to have to go back to the Lions of old when they had Matthew Stafford, where they had to score 38 points a game because the defense couldn't stop anybody. You saw that against Buffalo yesterday. They scored 42 points. The problem was the defense gave up 48. Like, if you're scoring 42 points and can't win a game, that's going to be a problem. And that's why I think right now, home field in the NFC is going to come down to Minnesota and Philadelphia, because I just don't see how Detroit's going to be able to survive the rest of the season with these injuries. They're just too much at this point.
Yeah. And Brad, I don't have that video on me. So that'll be one for maybe tomorrow. I don't have the Jalen Carter hit.
Yeah, me neither. But
only have so much time for video editing.
So David Montgomery is having MRIs today for an MCL injury. So if he
it was a rough week 15.
So if he goes out with like a torn MCL, then that's another injury blow to Detroit, where I just don't think how they're going to be able to recover at this point, because you're losing one of your best offensive weapons. You're already down I think they said they were down 14 players on defense yesterday. Now you add 2 more to the list. That's 16 players on defense, and 7 of them are defensive starters to start the year. So right now you're basically down to all practice squad guys on your defense.
Well, that's why they let up 45 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other one to watch will be Mahomes, right? Because that was he got rolled up on pretty heavily.
Mr. Mahomes took a hit. And I think that was supposed to be a Kelsey play initially, but looked like it was covered pretty well. No one wants to see that if you're Kansas City. He's getting a little assistance on 4th down. Mahomes.
So, you know,
I don't know. Where have I seen that before?
Like every year.
But right, that if you look at the top picture on that too, that could have been flagged for that high-low hit, because you have the guy on his ankles at the bottom, and the Cleveland Brown guys getting him up by the shoulder pads.
No,
That's
exactly.
that high-low. That's that high-low hit they were talking about a couple of years ago that they wanted to eliminate. There was no flag thrown on that play either. If anything, that should be a personal foul for the high-low hit right there.
Yeah, that should have been an unnecessary roughness for sure.
Especially what Patrick Mahomes means to the NFL, you'd think they would definitely be calling that.
I mean, it just means they didn't see it, because they also may have ruled that he was blocked into him, right? Because you can see one of the linemen right behind him pushing. So, I mean, it's, you know, who knows if it should have been flagged, but it definitely could have been. But the biggest thing is, you know, now you have Mahomes beat up yet again. But this is an offense that doesn't click quite the same as some of the other ones that he was able to power through injuries on. So we'll see how much that hurts this team.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have to definitely say the Jets screwed up their draft choice, you know, because they are definitely on the clock here in a little bit by losing to beating the Jaguars. Good work, Jets.
What's the Jets' record right now? Anyway, is it 4?
4-10. 4-10.
Yeah, 4-10.
Yeah.
And the thing with the Jets is the way, like, Jacksonville's a terrible team, obviously, but the way that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams looked yesterday, that's what the Jets have been waiting for since they acquired Devontae Adams. Like, that's the connection that they were hoping the Jets could have once they got him, and it makes you wonder where, if this team had that connection with those two all year, where would the team be? But for the most part, the team has been non-existent apart from the first 5 games when they were sitting at 3-2.
Yeah.
That was the first win for their new head coach that took over for Robert Saleh. So you have to wonder what the Jets were thinking, firing a guy that was actually sitting at 3-2. And now you're sitting at 4-10.
I said the same thing about the Cowboys at this point. I mean, I know we're mathematically not eliminated, but I felt like, you know, every time we win a game, we're screwing ourselves more and more for a draft position that we could really honestly use to.
I mean, even if you win out, it doesn't matter. You've won too many games to have a good draft.
Exactly. No, that's my point. Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, there's too many bad teams. I'm just looking at that now. So you have the Giants and the Patriots at 2-12.
Yeah.
Then you have the Browns and the Jaguars at 3-11. Is there one more team? The Panthers. Also at 3-11. Then you have the Jets at 4-10. I'm not sure if there's anybody else that's 4-10 in the mix here.
Are the Titans 4-10?
They could very well be. Let me check.
Or are they 3-11?
Oh, they're 3-11. So, yeah, there's a lot of PU.
There, yeah. Going into yesterday, there was 8 teams that were 3 wins or less.
That's a lot.
That is a whole lot.
Yeah. That means Cowboys will probably be drafting around 11 or 12, maybe even 13, depending.
I don't know what you're talking about. Cowboys are going to make the playoffs.
Hey, you know, mathematically they're not out of it yet, so it could still.
No, I think you're going to see a Cowboys Eagles playoff game.
God, could you imagine a time where? What if the Cowboys beat the Eagles on some kind of miraculous comeback? I mean, could you imagine that? You better hope that doesn't happen, Pat, because I will let you have it all over Sunday. God, what a time to be alive.
After we
say that.
Destroy you, like embarrass you, like embarrass Jerry, embarrass your coach, embarrass everybody who is a Dallas Cowboys fan forever. Like it might be you could talk about your 5 Super Bowls and we're gonna just laugh at you because you were that much embarrassed. Like
Absolutely.
like,
And I
maybe
think
like the
when you
most
don't win the
points
Super
ever
Bowl, I
scored
think
on a
you're going to
team.
be equally. I think when you don't win the Super Bowl, you're going to be equally because you did all this to go
Oh,
home.
if we won the Super Bowl, then what? Then what? Then what? Stop being a bitch.
I'm
Stop
saying
being a
if you don't
bitch.
win the Super
You're
Bowl,
going to be a bitch
you're
because your
one of
team
those freaking
stinks.
closing
Your team
guys.
stinks. Pu. You barely beat. Oh, you beat the Panthers. Woo.
No, but again,
nice.
we already
You got
that,
6
though,
wins.
Pat.
Yeah.
You're the one got more on the line. We don't have nothing on the line. If you don't come away with the win, you're going to be the guy who never could have got it. So you better hope you fucking win. Because if you don't, it's going to be another freaking day that I'm going to remind you every freaking time that you should have got it and you didn't.
See, now
I love it.
You
Are
don't
you
come
going to
away
make the
with
playoffs
trophy.
and then you're going to be stuck with McCarthy
I
again?
hope
You're going to be
the
stuck
Vikings
with
kick your
McCarthy,
ass. I hope
and
they
then we're
feel
going to
like
spank
Sullivan.
you
I'm gonna root for the
so
Vikings.
bad. Wah,
I'm
wah,
rooting for the Vikings.
wah.
You know what?
And you
I
know
will-
what?
I
And
hope
you know
the
what?
Vikings kill you.
Army stinks too. Navy comes in there and beats your ass. And the Army. So I don't want to hear it. You got
Well,
spanked
first of all,
around on
okay.
Saturday, and
Okay,
now we're
Hold on,
spanking you
fact
around.
check,
I should have brought snacks, I swear.
Hold on. Fact check. What parents don't realize is I was a fucking Navy person too, you dumb son of a bitch.
But you converted. You went
I
Army.
did, but it does not.
Navy
I'm
first, then
I'm
Army.
Navy.
So I don't
pull
want to
either
hear it.
way.
I
No,
don't
because
want to
you
hear
Army,
it.
I'll pull
And
either
don't call
way.
me
I
a dumb
didn't.
son of a bitch. You went Army. You ended Army. Guess what? We beat the snot out of Army. Out of the snot. They're gone. They thought they were ranked. Guess what? They ain't ranked no more.
And you could have bet on Navy had you joined us here on Coast to Coast with this QR code on the screen. Get up to 125% of your first 3 deposits, 10% bet guarantee. Had you bet on Army, and so you can do that right alongside us here with that QR code on the screen. And of course, if you're in the Pacific Northwest, you can also use this QR code for True Fusion Gym. Get a free 5-day pass at any of the 3 locations: Bellevue, Ballard, University Village. Pilates, bar, boot camp, you name it. Find your edge. True Fusion Gym.
And go sign up at sweettshot.com.
That's right.
Go do it. Go sign up.
Hey, Pags, real quick on the Sweet Tea. How long is it going to be before you guys, like for example, if I'm out here in Houston, when can I expect to see some Sweet Tea come down this direction?
Well, I mean, my first order of business is getting my wholesaler license. Once I have
Okay.
my wholesaler license,
It's an important piece.
I think that it's a matter of knowing the laws well enough to be able to say, okay, I can ship alcohol from here to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without it being bootlegging. So that's really like there's certain laws to this. And I'm not sure like if you have to have a wholesaler's license in every state to be able to sell alcohol in each state. I know in Pennsylvania you must have one.
Okay.
And I don't know the rules in Texas. I think that they're probably very lenient in Texas for alcohol in comparison to like if I wanted to start a casino or smoke pot in Texas, that would get shot down quick as day. But yet alcohol is almost like free reign, or guns.
Yeah. Because it's interesting to me because outside of Fort Campbell, about a quarter mile down the road, there's an old Air Force guy that retired out of the Air Force, and he has a distillery out there, and he makes his moonshine and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm starting to see it here in Houston. So I know if that Air Force guy can do it. I mean, you might have to do your research, but I know there's a way you can get it done. And I mean,
so
again,
yeah,
you
but
might
if you're making craft anything like craft
Right.
beer, craft alcohol in a state, typically you'd be able to sell it in the state.
right.
Because I'd have to cross state lines, it's a different scenario. So I don't know all the law yet. There's
Yeah,
going to be.
I would
I'm
definitely
going to
do-
have to like that's going to be somebody that I got to have in the repertoire. Somebody who's
I'm
going
going
to
to
be able
ask
to tell
you,
me the law.
isn't there like a lawyer, like a patent lawyer, or not a patent lawyer, but like a lawyer that deals in this kind of law that can get you
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
So that would
Right,
probably be
so-
my first investment right there is get a lawyer that can help you navigate that. Because if you
Oh
can get
no,
down
we
to
have
here,
much more investments that we have to do first.
oh,
'Cause I'll
absolutely.
be
Yeah,
honest.
you gotta take it in
I'll be
steps.
honest. 'Cause selling to you in Houston, I mean, likely I'll send you down a couple bottles, and then you would pay, like donate some money to a charity
Absolutely.
for me, like
Yeah.
kind of
You
thing.
know what?
Like
If you do
that's how that
you
would
let me
actually
know
work.
what charity, and I will make a donation to that charity. You're
I'm
damn
not really
right I will.
concerned about it like that. It's more, it's when I have orders that I have to fill in Texas. That
Yeah.
I
Hey, I'm
need
gonna
that
text you
really.
my
No,
address.
I mean you got to start. You got to start where you are, and
Oh,
then you
absolutely.
branch from there, right? Like
Absolutely.
you got to have
Because I'll
proof
be
of
honest,
concept first.
not that Texas is a big market for me, at least not in my thought process yet, but like Georgia and Florida and Alabama, where stuff like where tea is like a part of their culture.
Wait, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa! You tell me that sweet tea is not a part of Texas culture? Because it's
I'm
so
just saying,
good for my
actually,
mama.
I don't, when I think of Texas, I don't think of sweet tea.
You need
when
to
I
start
think of
thinking
Georgia,
sweet
I
tea,
think
'cause
of
that's all
sweet
we
tea.
drink down here. Matter of fact,
To be
it's
fair-
some sweet tea.
To be fair, I don't think of Texas.
And I don't understand that because we have a huge seriously, we have liquors that are called sweet tea as well, and there's a whole different name around it, but Texas is a huge sweet tea state. I don't know why who would ever think that. I mean, I don't know if y'all.
Oh no, like I said, I don't. It's not that I don't think of it.
I'm
It's
gonna
just
go
that
home
when
and
I
tell my
think,
mama, Pax done said we ain't a sweet tea nation. My mama gonna say, "Well, I need to meet."
I just like that somebody woke up and pissed in Jay's Cheerios this morning.
Well, I tell you what, man, this is the third time I've been pissed in. Somebody put on Facebook, I'm not going to say who it was, it's nobody on this panel, but somebody said that Texas is like, it's not in the top 3 of barbecue. And I said, well, you don't know shit about barbecue then.
Did you say they are on this panel?
No, they're not. I said they're not on this panel. I said, I'm not going to name it until they're not
I
on
was
this
like, now that sounds hilarious. Let's go.
If you tell somebody from Texas that we're not in the top 3, we're going to have a fight. Not only, and it's not going to be like a physical fight. It's going to be a fight with food. Like, you're going to taste my shit and tell me that we are not good at barbecue.
Okay, then your stuff ain't shit. Let's go.
actually,
Oh, shit. Well, bring your happy ass down. Matter of fact, bring Pags
mean,
and
If
hey,
that's
but
all
at
I
least
gotta
that
say,
guy
if
at
we
home,
barbecue-
because he don't know what barbecue is. He up there in that Minnesota shit.
If that's
we
all
all
I gotta
come
say
down
to
here.
get free barbecue, I'm in.
Yeah, hey, listen. Nah, Stat Guy, you can come too. I'm just messing with you. But no, hey, listen. Hey, y'all ever come down this direction, I will hook you the fuck up. I mean, I will do it. I will, because when I do my barbecue, like I'll take a brisket, for example. That's at least, at a minimum, that's at least a 48-hour, that's a 48-hour process to get that out. Chicken is about 27 hours. Ribs are about 36.
not for nothing. Not for nothing. And I'm not bragging. Yeah, well, I am a little bit. Yesterday.
Yeah.
So Matt Groark, Groark. Look him up. High end barbecue guy. He brought like Wagyu ribs.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I tell you, I wanted to gnaw on the bone.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm like, I didn't give it. I didn't care. I'm just like, I'm gonna just chew on this for the rest of the day, and break all my teeth.
Well, then
do
you need
whatever.
to bring your butt down here because I'm gonna get. Hey, I got this new rub, and I call it Fade to Black. Really, it's called Fade to Black. And I'm telling you, when I give you, I'm telling you, when I give you,
I don't
this,
know which. I don't want to know what you're rubbing black.
No, I'm just saying the name. The name of the rub is called Fade to Black. You asshole. But,
It's full of fentanyl. So it's
no,
the last
it's not full of fentanyl. No, no. It's just look. When you get this, I'm telling you, when I give you this, it's like crack cocaine Pags. And I want you to give an honest review. When you come down, you and Bo, y'all come
How
down,
is
I'm
that
gonna give you
different
this.
than what I said?
Listen, when you guys come down, I'm gonna give you this food, and I fully expect when we do a coast to coast, you're gonna give me a 5-star rating. You're gonna give me 5-star, and then you're gonna want more, like a damn crack addict. Because I'm telling you, it's that good. Pags, it's that good, man. I'm telling you.
I believe you.
Can't wait. Seriously, I can't
Let's
wait to
go.
cook for you guys. Because I want you. No, seriously, because I do take barbecue pretty personal. Because my uncle Bill, He's the godfather of barbecue in my life because he's won the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo like 10 times. I mean, the guy is just fucking phenomenal. And
Nice.
he's passed away now, but I got his lid, and I got his lid above my barbecue pit. I got his lid hanging. I'll send you a picture one of these days of it. But yeah, I'm telling you, man, hey, when you come down here, I'm going to feed you guys so well, you're not going to want to go back home. And they're going to be like, you know what?
I'm just saying, send me some of the rub because I want to smoke a brisket coming up.
No, hey, well, give me your address, and I'll hook you up with some.
Perfect.
Give me your address. I'll hook you up. And if
Yeah.
Pags, you give me your address, hey, we can even swap me and you, Pags. I'll do. Hey, you tell me what charity you want me to donate. I'll donate to. I'll send you a little bit of my rub. And
Don't worry, you guys are going to get a bottle the moment I get to find out a little bit of the rules because I don't want by chance like it to get stopped because
Oh,
now
of
they
course.
scan all these friggin' packages and they say, oh, that's not allowed. Like I just don't. I can't afford
Man,
to get
you
that
know,
chance. But you guys are going to get a bottle.
I times I've
no
shipped
doubt.
liquor here in New York.
Say again.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
I will tell you, I probably shipped about 15 bottles of liquor from here to New York. I got friends
So
in
New
New York.
York-
and I ship
So
them liquor
it's
all
not
the
New
time.
York that's the
Or he's
problem.
trying to do a business here.
Yeah, the problem is Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is
No, I
the
understand what you're saying,
the
Bo.
largest purchaser of alcohol in the world, but they also have the strangest and strictest laws on alcohol in the world. So it's
Philly has weird laws anyway. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Pass. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in the city of Philadelphia, you guys can never own the land, right? Like you can own the structure, but you can't own the land. Am I right, or is that wrong?
that's wrong.
Is it Mexico?
Is
Like,
that
what
wrong?
are you talking about?
Okay. No. I'm saying like for example, if I want to build a house in Philadelphia, from what I've heard, and like I said, that's why I'm asking Pags because I could be wrong. I've just heard through the pipeline they said you can't own the land, but you can own the structure on the land. Now, if I'm wrong on that, and then my friend told me wrong.
Not for
That
nothing.
would make Philly an Indian reservation.
Not for nothing.
No,
Not
I'm
for
saying
nothing.
like, but you know what I'm
But
saying. Like, you
that's
pay taxes.
like that. That's like that countrywide. I mean, as you may think that you own the land. Truth of the matter is that the government really owns that land because they tax you on it.
Of course.
So it's not your
Well, no,
land.
they don't tax.
It's not
me
your
on it,
land.
but,
It's not my land. It's not the land of the free because you have to pay for it a lot. So
It
Well,
is
of
the
course
land
you
of
gotta
the
pay
free,
for it. I'm
extremely
just-
expensive.
No, I'm gonna have to go back to my friend because no, seriously, I have a friend that he lived in Philadelphia and he was telling me about this, but I guess he
Wait.
told me wrong.
What do you
if
mean
the tax
they
is saying
don't
it's
tax
free,
you?
I mean,
You don't have property taxes in the house you bought?
No, I don't.
yeah. So I'll be
And I
honest.
can
with
tell
you.
you,
I'll be
I'm not
honest.
gonna tell you why on air, but offline I can tell you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
No, I
I mean,
You're an
but
informant. It's fine.
realistically, you can own the property. If that was the case, then there would be a lot of people that like eminent domain would happen all over the place.
Yep.
So I mean, I know of a few people. Like I met somebody yesterday. I wound up sitting in his seats, and he owns a lot of property.
Yeah.
The sixth man of the Sixers. You know, he's the old guy who just about sits on the bench. Like he sits on Joel Embiid's lap half the time. It seems like. First off, he pays a lot of money to do that, but he owns like every property that if you go to college in the city of Philadelphia, you are renting from him. So
That's interesting.
think of how many colleges are in Philadelphia. You know, not just
there's a
even the
lot,
big
I would
ones.
imagine.
Yeah. So
Yeah, not just the big ones, the small ones too. Yeah, it's so. I mean, I don't believe that. His situation may have been very unique, where he was able to purchase a property that was really just a building on land that property was leased on. You know what I mean? So it's like that sounds like a very specific situation. And that's what happens in like Northern Liberties and things like that. There's a lot of that stuff.
Interesting. You know, Pags, you're a veteran. You know, in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania as a whole, how do your benefits work? Like, do y'all have pretty good veteran?
I am the
benefits
wrong
there?
person to talk to about that. I really am.
I was just
I have
curious.
my best friend. My best friend is 100% disabled. Just got
Right.
the distinction, and
Nice.
because of that, it went. His world has changed a little bit. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
like now all of a
absolutely.
sudden
It changes the whole hell
he
of a
went
lot.
from he
Yeah.
went from like 30% to 100%, and
Yeah.
it's like the
And
world.
I will tell you,
changed.
anybody that knows VA math is not like our math. It's just crazy. No, I'm serious. It is the most craziest math you've ever seen. Like you would think, oh, he's only 30 or 70%, but that 70% can be divided so many
The
different
difference
kinds of-
between 90 and 100
Yeah.
is $1,800.
Oh, absolutely. I'm
There's
100%
a
disabled.
big,
That's why
big
I'm
difference.
telling you, I know. I'm tracking.
You're
that.
getting like
At least we know where
2,100.
Common Core came from.
You're like
Well, you
2,100
know-
or 3,800.
Oh, yeah.
90 to 100% disabled. So it's a big deal.
for any
At
veterans
least
that are
in
out there.
Pennsylvania, I don't know where it is for every state. Every state's a
absolutely.
little
Well, you know,
different.
and that's the thing, right? So if you're a disabled veteran, and I'm not trying to push the state of Texas on anybody, but I'm just saying if you're a disabled veteran 100%, then Texas is the place you want to be, honestly, because we have more benefits for disabled veterans than any other state out there. And I challenge any veteran out there, if you're thinking about moving to Texas, go on Texas veteran website and you will see all of what we get, and then you're going to be like, it really is. Texas is one of the best veteran friendly states you're going to find. It really, honestly is.
I have absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But you know what I did hear? You know what else I did hear? Since we're talking about Texas, that the Dallas Cowboys are no longer the most expensive franchise.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess before you tell me who it is. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a soccer franchise that's worth more than us.
No, I'm just talking in the United States.
Oh, just okay. I got you. Okay. Well, then who is?
I believe it's the LA Dodgers.
Really? Okay, I can see that. Which is
I
interesting.
believe
to
the
me, 'cause why
Dodgers,
would it
and I
be
think
the
it's by like 100, I think it's maybe 100 million. You know what I mean? Which is
Wow.
small potatoes. The Cowboys are worth like 8.3, and I think that now the Dodgers are worth like 8.4.
Wow. I wonder if that has anything to do with the championship they just won. If that bumped it up that little bit more, or if it was before that.
I'm sure.
It doesn't.
It doesn't hurt, right? I mean, I'm tracking. I just wonder if that evaluation came in before they won the World Series, or if that was after the World Series that evaluation came in. I was just curious. But yeah,
Well, I just know I read the thing week ago, so it had to have been after.
yeah. I'm surprised that the Yankees weren't ahead of the Dodgers in evaluation, because I mean that's just a storied franchise, been around forever, right? Since 1900. I'm
So
surprised.
the difference between the Yankees and the Dodgers is about 7,000 seats, and that would probably
can
make
see
the
that.
difference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Dodgers have the largest stadium in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
That's
Yankees,
interesting.
even though
Okay.
the Yankees sell out every time, the Dodgers, even when they don't sell out, have more capacity. So it's like 42,000 people are there every game, and that's not a sellout. 42,000 people can't even fit in Yankee Stadium.
Curious, does the Dodgers have their own net? Like the Yankees have their own network. Do the Dodgers have their network as well?
It's not technically their own network. They're run through Spectrum.
I'm just asking because that's a part of I think the revenue right there is the fact that the Yankees have their own network. I would think that would factor in, but like you said,
Spectrum gives the Dodgers $400 million a year. So
Yeah,
it's
there
not
you
like,
go.
that,
That
it's not
makes
like the Dodgers are broke by not having a network. They just get plenty of their funding through Spectrum.
No, I got you. That makes sense. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so we did talk about this last week.
No, that's not what they're talking, Slip. They're not going to roof the link.
By the way, West Coast Ren, nobody wants your ass in Texas anyway. Okay, we got enough. I got enough Northerners. moving to this damn city. Seriously, because you people don't know how to drive in Wisconsin, Washington, wherever you're from. We got enough. The Northerners, I swear, Northerners move here. You wouldn't be surprised how many Northerners live here. I swear it's crazy. Anybody want to go
I
to
think she
Washington?
lived in Maine.
Damn.
Well, no, she went to Maine for a trip. I think she's actually Pennsylvania somewhere, right? Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we ain't Northerners.
Pennsylvania, smart. I am a smart ass. I'm smarter than your punk ass. That's why I live in Texas. No, but seriously,
All my exes.
Yeah,
live in
man,
Texas.
well, where do you make your home? Where do you make your home? In Tennessee. Which is interesting because Tennessee in the Battle of the Alamo gave us 23 volunteers. So I have mad respect for Tennessee because you helped us out. Love you.
What the hell was that? Was that like a Hogan Heroes?
Damn
Right.
right. All day killer. I'm glad you
I
recognize
believe
that.
that was Officer
The
Duffy.
funny thing is Pags knows that because Pags about my age. Most people that are younger, like let's say Stat Guy's age, wouldn't know who Hogan's Heroes is.
I know who that is. I just never seen it.
You might be well. There you go. You've never seen it, so you might.
But
You've heard
I still know what it is.
Nope,
Well,
100%.
okay.
That was Officer Duffy.
Hey, Bo, I got mad respect for you, man. Hey, even Bo knows that. Okay, right on.
Good stuff, man.
Never a dull moment on this show, whether it's sports or anything else.
It's mostly everything else. Occasionally, we circle back to sports, but
Hey, all I'm saying is yesterday, or was it Friday? Yeah, Friday. I do not take any responsibility for this show starting off crazy. Y'all started that mess. I just joined in. I just want to be clarified for the record. Okay, most of the time I do.
I was going to say it's generally your fault. What are you talking
No,
about?
I get it. I just want a record that hey, Friday was not my fault.
Oh, just one time.
Well, yeah, but I want that
200 plus
one.
shows.
One time out of the million.
Hey, listen, guys, we
Right.
do have the president of the network watching this. We should do a little bit better show than this.
So I'll bring it back into sports then. Jeez.
That's a salute from a country surrendered. Dang.
I'll bring it back into sports for a minute. How many players does a typical college football team have, do you think?
Well, I mean, it depends on the program because some of them, some of the smaller programs have limitations, but they're trying to trim them all to 150.
But I'm trying to figure out how
No,
Marshall.
nobody cares about that stat guy. Let's talk about what people really care about. No, seriously, let's talk about what people care about. How much controversy is over the Heisman right now? Honestly,
I was gonna get
Nobody cares about how many damn football players are on a team. Nobody cares about that stat guy.
I'm trying to talk about this for a second because there was actually something that went into equation this weekend over it. With Marshall's coach leaving Marshall to take his new job, Marshall lost, I think they said 31 players.
Half their damn team. No, they said they lost half of their team.
Yeah, but they said they said they lost 31 players to the transfer portal. If that's half of their team, that means they only had a 62-man roster. So my question is, do they only have 60 guys, or are there a lot of guys hurt plus those 62?
Well, no. So the thing is before there wasn't limitations on rosters, right?
Yeah.
And now they're trying to cap it at 150. Some of the smaller schools, especially some of the MAC schools, stuff like that, they were around 100 anyway. So the cap on the rosters won't matter for them because they were small enough that they don't fill out the rosters anyway. Same with some of the service academies. They don't have the 200 plus personnel on the roster that some of the big schools used to. So the limitation to the 150 is more of it really gets rid of a lot of the walk-ons for some of the big programs. Now maybe it'll help some of these smaller programs land guys. So maybe ultimately it works out, but yeah, so talking about a school like Marshall, they probably didn't have a 200 plus, roster, right? They probably were pretty close to the 150 anyway.
But even then, though, even at 150, most teams can suit up 90 guys on game day. So even if you
but they're probably talking half of their scholarship guys.
Starters.
Okay.
Yeah, they're probably talking half scholarship.
I was gonna say, because if they only had a 62 team roster, that's a very small Division One team. If they only had 62 guys on the roster,
Wasn't there a big plane accident and they haven't really recovered since?
Yeah, they
Hey, Randy Moss brought them back to relevancy.
Wow.
Randy Moss
Getting
brought
dark.
them back to relevancy.
Hey, look, can we talk about something that's actually crazy? Ashton Gentry says that the Heisman he felt like was his. He felt like he was robbed of that. Do y'all agree with that?
I think it was that way. I think it was his because yes, Travis Hunter plays both ways, which I'll give him credit. He plays both ways, but he didn't put up the greatest stats as a wide receiver. Like, yes, he had good stats, but he wasn't like the top wide receiver in the country. And defensively, he was a very good cornerback, but again, he wasn't the top cornerback in the country either.
You know what's interesting though is that Charles Woodson was also a two-way player. But if you look at his stats compared to Travis Hunter's stats, Travis Hunter basically has 3 times the number of stats as he had. So you got to think if they're going to give the Heisman to Charles Woodson, and this guy is like 3 times better than what Charles Woodson versus if you look at the stats, then they almost have to give him the Heisman, wouldn't they?
Yes and no. Because the difference with Genty is when it came to Boise State, there were times when Boise State was playing opponents where everybody in the stadium, everybody on both sidelines knew that he was going to get the ball. And yet still couldn't stop him, and he'd rip off a 50, 60, 70-yard touchdown run. You know he's going to get 30 to 35 touches a game. You know he's going to get 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, but yet you can put 11 guys in the box, and you're still not going to tackle him for at least 15, 20 yards.
Sure,
I will tell you this. Hey,
at the same time, looking at Hunter, right? There's times that he's double covered. He's not going to get the catch. He's opening other opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
He's not getting thrown to every time because they don't want to worry about a pick. So, I mean, sure, the numbers may not be where you think they should be, but I mean, when you look at
the margin was the closest it's been since 2009. So, I mean, at least
let's be honest, though, Travis Hunter probably means as much to Colorado as what Genty means to Boise State. Let's be honest. Both of them mean equally. I mean, look, I had Genty as Barry Sanders mini-me. I mean, I think he's the next. I think he could be the next version of Barry Sanders.
And that's kind of why. That's kind of why
we really don't take what he says too seriously.
No, but that's kind of why I wish. Like, that's kind of why I wish the Heisman would be awarded after the bowl season is over, because if Genty would go out again, because Penn State's got one of the best defenses against the run. They've only allowed, I think, one 100-yard rusher this season. I think that was Ohio State when Ohio State's running back had like 120.
I mean, it's a regular season award, though.
I know, but technically the college football playoffs right now are still considered the regular season because that first round happens before the bowl games. So that technically is still the regular season.
I mean,
that's
not really
because
the playoff are basically all bowl games at this point anyway.
I just kind of wish they would have waited. This is the one year where I wanted to see if Genty would go out and rush for 150 against Penn State's defense, and then goes and which would break Barry Sanders' record. So I think he's like 133 yards behind Barry Sanders right now. If he would go out and get 150 yards against Penn State's defense and break Barry Sanders' record, I think Genty would get it if they would wait until after that game. But the fact that the stats are where they are right now, I'm okay with Travis Hunter getting it just because he's only like one of 2 or 3 players ever in college football to do what he's done where he's played both ways. But with the margin being as close as it was, that goes to show you how many took into account of what Genty's done. Because at the beginning of the season, there wasn't a lot of people talking about Ashton Genty and just the kind of player he was. It took him 6-7 weeks into the season before he started even getting respect from a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That was an award that had it gone either way, I was fine with it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not mad that he got it.
I don't think anybody's going to argue. Yeah.
I would say,
as long as it's either Genty or Hunter, I would have an issue if you want to go one way or the other way, because you can make a case for both.
Exactly.
Not that the other 2 quarterbacks don't have good cases, but they're not as strong as Genty and Hunter are. And I think honestly, it's down the middle. However you want to vote it, that's how you vote it.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was saying is like you could have went either way, and I wasn't mad at it either way because Gentry was killing it. And
I think Genty, and I really hope the Cowboys. I've seen in some mock drafts the Cowboys have links to Genty. Now I don't know if he's going to make it that far down, but if he does, oh heck yeah, man! I mean, I think that would be the great. That would at least be one starting piece that we could build
And just to answer your
Eagles not
question,
pick one.
Chris, just because you live in Pennsylvania, the governor does not drink.
Well, there you go.
So
That's why he's the
no, I was
governor.
not unable to do that. However, I did get a really nice moment with him. To get I for anybody who doesn't know, the governor of Pennsylvania, both the governor and lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania, allowed me to escort them around through our tailgate. He spoke a few words. He played some cornhole real quick.
Nice.
It was just an overall great time for the state of Pennsylvania. Both having a Steelers fan and myself kind of walk the governor and lieutenant governor around the tailgates and get to see him be as well liked as me sometimes. We couldn't get anywhere without people wanting to take pictures and talk to him and stuff like that. So
did Governor Shapiro happen to mention his affection for me? Like, hey, how's Jay McLovin doing over there in Dallas? Yeah.
No.
Did he say anything like that at all?
You know what? I think that he might have just said, "Hey, give this to Jay," and rip one real fast.
And I believe that because Governor Shapiro hates me, but I believe that.
I don't think he hates you, Jay. I think that
doesn't hate you.
he's just not a Cowboys fan, but
No, Bo,
yeah.
you were there. Look, he was giving death rays to me.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with you. It had to do with that weird Lone Star you like.
I know, man. I just felt like he was burning my soul. I felt like he was burning my soul in that interview. Because every time he would talk to me, it had that real formal, like, if you were on death row, I'd kill your ass type of look, I mean,
I don't remember him saying that.
I don't remember that. I feel like I was just on days.
I'm not saying it. He didn't say that. I'm saying with the way he was looking at me, I felt like that's what he was saying.
I got you. So he's coming in while you're on life support and just kicking the plug.
Pull the plug. It happened. I'm sorry. My bad.
I got you. We appreciate you guys joining in this morning. It's been an interesting one for sure. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Helps us bring our content to you. And of course, if you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Later, guys.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in.